because like I said, my biggest fear on everything is that we're the bottleneck, where like every decision, whether it be a decision or problem or this, like you become the conduit where the people that are working for you don't have the wherewithal or the courage or the balls, let's say, to fucking solve a problem. And it's like,
and it's always the leader's fault. That is the
yeah.
most unpopular coaching of all time. And I am the most unpopular coach on that point, because you are absolutely right. It's always your question. How am I the bottleneck of this thing? And how am I going to bring my solutions to that? And it's like, people cannot unmake you the bottleneck. Like they can't do it. They don't have the power to do it. They, whatever. So it's like,
but isn't that empowering them? Like empowering them to like make a decision? Or is it the fact that people are like so nervous to cover their own ass that they choose to do nothing instead of making a decision that could potentially be wrong?
I have a thought on that. And this was Dr. Cara Miller. We re-listened to episode 364 featuring you.
Oh.
And there was 2 words in there that I really thought about, and that was capability versus capacity. No. And we didn't talk about versus, but what I was taking away, in which my capacity, John, meaning if there's different tasks that I am capable of accomplishing, but I just don't have the bandwidth to because of everything else. But then there's capability, in which you would ask me to do something, and that is not in my skill set, sir.
But
now I have the strength and courage to tell you.
Whereas before you didn't. Now if something isn't, and like,
right,
and I've gotten pissed at you, where I've been like, hey, motherfucker, if you can't do this, you got to raise your hand.
Which now I do.
Yeah, but that's
it took some time.
Yeah, I know, and a lot of that's growth, and I know that. But like the age old, like if you, it's the
ethos.
Yeah.
Right. If you convinced him finally that that's what you wanted, that you wanted him to self-identify his own limits of capability and capacity, he finally believed you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it took a while, right? Like, leaders have to build the believability, because just because you say it, people cannot believe you. Like, you have to build it over time. So finally he like had enough time to believe you for this, that he could actually bring it to you. So that's like a massive leader win. If somebody brings you a problem or says that's at my limit, or whatever, and like I have no solutions, or I have no capacity, or I whatever, you finally know that you just won like a leader point, like 0.1 for me. And that is, they believed me. They did, because they acted on it. They drew down on it. Like I kept saying, you've got credits with me. Draw down on a credit. Tell me you can't do it. Tell me you don't know. Tell me whatever. But there's so much at stake with that. People aren't inherently ready to believe you in your seat of power and your seat of whatever. And then when they finally do, you know you've achieved it. You know you've become believable. And that is one of the hardest things to be when you have power. It's very difficult to be also believable and have a bunch of power. So it's like, congratulations,
Well, it's the airport. I call it the airport analogy. You remember at the airport where they're like, if you see something suspicious, you have to report it to somebody. If you see like a piece of luggage that's like, by itself and nobody's around it, you have to report it. So it's the same thing, where it's like, if this is outside my realm or this is outside my capacity, I have to let somebody know, because we don't want to, fucking bomb to blow up.
If it's too dangerous, if they don't believe that, if they think, if I say this is beyond my limit, or I can't do it all, or whatever, like my ego's at stake first. And then secondly, the leader might bust me on it and like shame me later for it, or whatever, right? Like, everybody thinks that's the default for everybody, unfortunately, because we've been so successful at conditioning people to follow the rules and jump through the hoops and like whatever, that when we finally say, no, come on, you got to fail. You got to tell me where you can't do it. You got to like, and I will push anything for you. If you come at me with that, the truth, like, let's deal with the truth. If they like sense at all that there's any shame or any ego or anything, like, they're just not going to do it. I mean, even at the airport, like, I'll say, I see a thing and I'm like, I don't want anyone to think that like I have the thing. And like, I don't want to get mixed up in the deal. And like, I'm not sure I want to stick around here and like be the witness statement or whatever. And also, like, I think a bomb might go off, so I'm just going to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to stand around looking for a security guard, because what if it blows up? Then I'm still here. So this is how people think about things. But when you finally show up as believable, when your ethos is real and it's lived, okay? This sounds like I'm making a list that exists. It doesn't exist, but whatever. Okay, let's start a list, right? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. Okay. One.
Right. Number one, you show up as believable, being who you said you were. Okay. That takes a while with your power. Secondly, if they see there aren't consequences for this happening at other times, right? Someone said, I can't do that, or someone said, I have a problem, or someone said whatever, and they see there weren't like dire, drastic, massive ego, shame consequences, abusive consequences, then we finally make it safe enough to do dangerous things like report a bomb that is about to go off. If people feel like it's safe enough to do that, then dangerous things start to happen in good ways, right? Wow, that guy was just, can you hear him? The revving up out there on the 101? He was making my point, right? So I want you to be a safe enough leader, a consistent enough leader that people will tell you dangerous things voluntarily, and they know that they can trust you to react, enact consequences, stay sturdy. You won't lose your shit. You're not going to derail. The whole thing's not going to go to pot. They're not going to be shamed publicly, whatever. That, like, you're going to deal in truth and reality back to them if they deal in truth and reality to you. And once you've achieved that, then you can actually change something, push something, grow something, and people will stay. I mean, that's the promise that most leaders never deliver on.
Going back, I'm a loaded freight train and I'm right on track.